Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving deep into one of the most interesting and unique signs of the zodiac, Cancer. If you've ever met a Cancer or maybe you're one yourself, you know that this sign has a lot going on. Cancers are known for their deep emotions, loyalty, and nurturing qualities, but let's face it, they also have their quirks. If you've ever wondered why Cancer is considered so weird by some, well, you're in the right place. In today's video, we're exploring 15 traits that make Cancer one of the most fascinating and sometimes confusing signs out there. From their unpredictable mood swings to their intense need for emotional security, there's a lot more to Cancer than what meets the eye. And if you're a Cancer, don't worry, you'll probably recognize a lot of these in yourself. So, why is Cancer so unique? Why do people say Cancer is weird? Whether you find these traits endearing or a little overwhelming, you'll get a whole new perspective on this sign by the end of the video. Stick around because we're about to break it all down. And if you're new here, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss out on more zodiac fun. Let's get started. 1. They're extremely emotional. Cancer is one of the most emotionally driven signs of the zodiac, and it's hard to miss. They feel everything deeply, from the highest highs to the lowest lows. This emotional intensity is one of the reasons Cancer can be seen as weird, because they often wear their hearts on their sleeves, allowing their feelings to drive their decisions and actions. Whether it's joy, sadness, or anger, Cancer doesn't just experience emotions, they dive headfirst into them. This emotional openness can sometimes be overwhelming for others, especially those who are more emotionally reserved. Imagine being in a room with someone who not only feels every emotion intensely but also makes it known to everyone around them. That's a typical Cancer. Their emotional energy is palpable, and it can create a strong connection with others, but also feel a bit too much for those who prefer to keep things more contained. While other signs may try to hold back their feelings or downplay their emotional reactions, Cancer embraces them, which can sometimes seem weird or even uncomfortable for people who aren't used to such openness. But at the same time, it's this same emotional depth that makes Cancer so compassionate and understanding. Their ability to empathize with others on such a deep level is what makes them incredibly special, though it can sometimes catch people off guard. 2. They have a deep need for security. One of the most defining characteristics of Cancer is their deep need for security. They crave emotional and physical stability, and they need to feel safe in their relationships and environments to truly thrive. This sense of security doesn't just mean having a stable job or a comfortable home, it also means knowing that their loved ones are there for them. Cancers are incredibly loyal, but they also need to feel that same loyalty and commitment in return. This need for security can be weird to people who prefer flexibility or who enjoy living a bit more unpredictably. Cancer, on the other hand, wants to make sure everything is in its place. They'll often seek out stability before making any major life decisions, and their desire for consistency can sometimes make them seem inflexible or even overly cautious. This constant quest for stability leads them to invest heavily in their home, their relationships, and their future, making sure that nothing threatens the peace they've worked hard to build. They don't do well with surprises or unexpected changes, this can leave them feeling anxious and uneasy. Their need for security isn't about being controlling or closed off, it's about creating a safe and reliable environment where they feel emotionally grounded. 3. They can be extremely possessive. Cancer's loyalty and protective instincts are incredibly strong, but sometimes, this loyalty can turn into possessiveness. Once Cancer forms an emotional bond, they are fiercely protective of that person or thing, and they will go to great lengths to ensure it remains theirs. This possessiveness can be weird to others who value independence or who are not used to feeling like someone is constantly checking in or watching over them. Whether it's a romantic partner, a close friend, or even an object of sentimental value, Cancer's attachment is deep, and they may feel threatened if they sense someone or something is encroaching on their territory. This need to keep what they care about close can manifest in controlling behaviors, or sometimes in subtle ways like jealousy or trying to dictate the behavior of others. While Cancer's possessiveness often comes from a place of love and security, it can sometimes make others feel trapped or suffocated. It's not that Cancer doesn't trust others, it's simply that they value their emotional investments so much that they don't want to risk losing them. For Cancer, their intense need for emotional attachment can translate into a desire to have their loved ones all to themselves, creating a sense of ownership over relationships that others may find weird or even overwhelming. 4. They have a hard time letting go. Letting go is not easy for Cancer. Whether it's a person, an old possession, or even a past memory, Cancer tends to hold on tightly to things they care about. Once they've invested emotionally in something or someone, it's incredibly difficult for them to walk away, even if they know it's time to move on. This trait makes Cancer appear weird to others who might have no trouble letting go of things when they no longer serve them. While some people can move on quickly from relationships or situations that aren't working, Cancer holds on, often for longer than is healthy. They are sentimental creatures, and the emotional bond they create with people and things is hard to sever. Whether it's staying in a job they don't enjoy because it feels safe or keeping old mementos that remind them of the past, Cancer struggles with detachment. It's not about being stuck in the past, it's about the emotional connection that Cancer builds with everything they hold dear. This difficulty with letting go can make them seem a bit clingy or resistant to change, and it can be seen as weird by others who are more able to let go of things quickly. For Cancer, though, it's about cherishing the memories and people who have shaped their lives, and they may not want to let go of that emotional connection, no matter how long it's been. 5. They're very set in their ways. Cancer is a creature of habit, and once they get into a routine, it's hard to get them to change it. They like things the way they are, and any disruption to their established patterns can be unsettling for them. This strong attachment to their routines can make Cancer seem weird to those who are more adaptable or who enjoy change. Cancer prefers the comfort of knowing what's coming next. Whether it's the way they handle their daily tasks or how they approach relationships, Cancer values consistency and predictability. When things are predictable, they feel safe, and that's when they're at their best. If something shakes up that stability, Cancer can become anxious or upset, struggling to adjust. This resistance to change can sometimes make them seem inflexible or even stubborn, especially when they're unwilling to try new things or step outside their comfort zone. While others may embrace change and see it as an opportunity for growth, Cancer often sees change as a threat to their emotional security. It's not that they're opposed to change, it's just that they need time to process and adjust before they're ready to embrace it. Their desire for consistency can sometimes make them appear rigid or overly cautious, but for Cancer, it's all about maintaining their sense of emotional stability. 6. They can be overly independent. Cancer is one of those signs that thrives on independence, but it's often expressed in a way that might seem weird to others. Despite being known for their deep emotional connections and their nurturing nature, Cancers value their personal space more than you might think. They want to take care of themselves and handle their problems without needing constant assistance from others. They can be fiercely protective of their independence, and they might resist offers of help, even when it's clear that they could use it. This isn't about being closed off, it's simply about Cancer's strong belief in self-sufficiency. They feel the need to stand on their own feet, even if it means carrying the weight of their emotions or challenges alone. This desire to control their own lives and emotions can sometimes lead them to shut others out, even when those people have the best intentions. To someone who isn't as independent, Cancer's resistance to asking for help can seem weird or even frustrating. However, it's important to understand that Cancer's need for independence isn't a rejection of others, it's a desire to maintain control over their own life and emotions, ensuring they feel in charge of their own journey. 7. They can be hard to read. One of the most puzzling aspects of Cancer is how difficult they can be to read. While they're incredibly emotional, intuitive, and caring, they often keep their deeper feelings hidden from others. Cancer might be feeling overwhelmed, hurt, or even overjoyed, but unless they trust you deeply, you might not see those emotions on the surface. This emotional reserve makes Cancer hard to figure out, especially for those who are used to more expressive signs. Their ability to keep their feelings contained can make it seem like they're indifferent or detached, but that's far from the truth. Cancer's mysteriousness comes from a need to protect themselves emotionally. They don't want to be hurt, so they hold their true feelings close to their chest. This can lead others to feel like they're walking on eggshells, never knowing exactly where they stand with Cancer. For someone who prefers clarity and transparency, Cancer's unpredictability can feel weird, as it's hard to gauge what's really going on behind their quiet exterior. But for Cancer, it's about emotional safety. They reveal themselves only to those who've earned their trust, and they're cautious about opening up to just anyone. 8. They can be overly protective. Cancer's loyalty and love for those they care about runs deep, and sometimes, this manifests as an overwhelming need to protect. Whether it's a partner, family member, or close friend, Cancer will go to great lengths to make sure their loved ones are safe, happy, and taken care of. While this sounds like a great trait, it can sometimes cross the line into possessiveness or control. Cancer can be a bit too protective, trying to shield others from harm or discomfort even when it's not necessary. This strong desire to care for those they love can make them come across as weird to people who prefer more freedom or who don't want to be micromanaged. For Cancer, protecting their loved ones isn't about controlling them, it's about keeping them safe from anything that might disrupt their emotional peace. However, not everyone appreciates this level of care, especially those who are more independent and don't want to be smothered. Cancer might get upset if they feel their loved ones are in danger or exposed to situations that might hurt them, and this protective instinct can seem excessive to those who don't understand just how deeply Cancer feels about keeping their inner circle safe. 9. They don't like change. Cancer is a sign that craves stability, and this often leads to a strong resistance to change. While other signs might enjoy variety or spontaneous adventures, Cancer finds comfort in the familiar and the predictable. Their emotional well-being depends on knowing what's going on in their lives, and any sudden shifts or changes can leave them feeling anxious and out of control. For Taurus, consistency is key. It's not just about avoiding change for the sake of it, it's about creating a stable foundation where they can feel emotionally secure. This resistance to change can be weird to others who enjoy going with the flow or who thrive on novelty. For Cancer, however, change represents disruption, and they do not handle it well. This can show up in their reluctance to take risks, try new things, or even adjust to minor changes in their routine. Cancer feels safest when things are predictable, and when life gets too chaotic, they retreat into their shell for protection. For those who embrace unpredictability, Cancer's resistance to change might feel limiting or suffocating. However, for Cancer, it's all about emotional balance. Knowing what to expect from life is what makes them feel secure. 10. They can be very nostalgic. Cancer has a deep attachment to the past, and they can be incredibly nostalgic. They love to hold on to memories, whether it's old photographs, letters, or mementos from significant moments in their life. This longing for the past can be seen as weird by people who prefer to live in the present or who are focused on moving forward. For Cancer, nostalgia isn't just about remembering, it's about reliving those moments and holding on to the feelings they bring. Their sentimental nature means that they often keep items that hold emotional value, and they'll frequently look back on them as a source of comfort or joy. This can sometimes make them seem stuck in the past, unable to move forward or let go of old relationships or experiences. For Cancer, though, their attachment to the past is a way to preserve the emotions and experiences that have shaped who they are. Whether it's a favorite childhood memory or a past relationship, Cancer holds on to the things that made them feel loved and secure. This deep connection to the past might seem strange to others, especially if they're more focused on living in the here and now, but for Cancer, it's an essential part of their emotional world. 11. They hate being told what to do. Cancer is a sign that values its independence, and one of the most frustrating things for them is being told what to do. Whether it's in a personal relationship or in a professional setting, Cancer does not respond well to being bossed around. This isn't because they're rebellious, rather, it's a reflection of their desire for emotional and personal control. They thrive when they're given the freedom to make their own decisions and follow their own instincts. When someone tries to take charge of their life or dictate their actions, Cancer feels suffocated and shut down. This can sometimes make them seem weird to others who may be more open to guidance or more willing to follow instructions. While they're certainly capable of taking direction when needed, Cancer strongly prefers to follow their own path, even if it means going against the grain. This independent streak runs deep, and Cancer will fight to maintain their autonomy, often becoming defensive or withdrawn when they feel their freedom is threatened. The need to have control over their own life and decisions is a fundamental part of who they are, and being told what to do feels like an infringement on their emotional territory. 12. They're often headstrong. Cancer's determination can be both a blessing and a curse. They are often headstrong and very set in their ways, making them incredibly difficult to sway once they've made up their mind. This characteristic can be weird to others, especially to those who are more flexible or open to change. When Cancer believes in something, they will defend it passionately, even if others disagree. This fierce determination comes from their deeply held emotional convictions and their strong sense of what is right for them. While this headstrong nature can help Cancer accomplish great things, it can also cause friction with those around them, especially when they're unwilling to compromise or consider alternative viewpoints. They can be so steadfast in their beliefs that it becomes almost impossible to change their mind, and this makes them seem rigid or stubborn to people who are more adaptable. In relationships, this trait can sometimes be frustrating, as Cancer won't easily back down from their position, even when they might not have all the facts. For Cancer, standing firm in their beliefs is part of what makes them feel secure, and they trust their instincts to guide them, which makes them resistant to advice or differing opinions. 13. They can be reckless. Despite their strong desire for security, Cancer can be surprisingly reckless, especially when their emotions take the wheel. When they feel overwhelmed, frustrated, or hurt, Cancer has a tendency to act impulsively and make decisions without thinking things through. This reckless side can sometimes catch others off guard, especially when Cancer appears so emotionally reserved or cautious on the outside. When their emotions take over, Cancer can do things they might later regret, whether it's reacting to a situation too quickly or saying something they didn't mean in the heat of the moment. This impulsiveness can make them seem weird to those who are more calculated or thoughtful in their decision-making. Cancer is normally the sign that takes their time to process emotions and situations, but when they're pushed too far, they can throw caution to the wind and act in ways that seem out of character. Their tendency to be reckless is often fueled by the intense emotional turmoil they're experiencing, and it's their way of coping with feelings that are too overwhelming to handle in a measured way. While they may deeply regret their actions later, this reckless streak is just another layer of complexity to the Cancer personality that others may not always understand. 14. they're terrible at asking for help. Cancer might be one of the most nurturing signs of the zodiac, but when it comes to asking for help, they often struggle. Cancer tends to keep their troubles to themselves, believing that they should be able to handle things on their own. This stems from their strong desire for independence and their fear of burdening others with their emotions. Because of their emotional sensitivity, Cancer can be reluctant to show vulnerability, making it difficult for them to admit when they need help. This trait can seem weird to others, especially to those who are more open to leaning on others for support. While Cancer is always there for their loved ones, they have a hard time reaching out when they need someone to lean on. This can create a sense of isolation for them, as they often internalize their struggles instead of seeking the support they need. For Cancer, asking for help feels like a loss of control, and they don't want to appear weak or incapable. This reluctance to ask for help can cause them unnecessary stress, as they try to shoulder the weight of their emotions and responsibilities on their own. It's not that they don't value support, it's simply that they're fiercely protective of their vulnerability, and they don't always feel comfortable exposing that side of themselves to others. 15. They're always in a rush. Cancer is not the type to sit around waiting for things to happen, they are constantly in a rush to get things done, especially when they feel emotionally driven. When they're invested in something, whether it's a project, a relationship, or a goal, Cancer wants to move fast and see results immediately. This urgency comes from their emotional need to create stability and secure their environment as soon as possible. They can't stand the idea of waiting for things to happen on their own, and they'll often take matters into their own hands to speed things along. This sense of urgency can make them appear weird to people who prefer to take a more relaxed approach or who are comfortable with things unfolding naturally. For Cancer, though, time is of the essence when it comes to their emotional security. If they're feeling unsettled, they'll act quickly to restore balance and control. This rushing can sometimes lead to impulsive decisions or frustration if things don't move fast enough. They want to ensure that their lives, relationships, and futures are settled and secure, which often drives them to act quickly and decisively. While this eagerness to act may be effective in some situations, it can sometimes come across as impatience or a lack of awareness of others' timelines or feelings. There you have it, 15 reasons why Cancer can be considered weird. From their deep emotional sensitivity to their strong desire for security, Cancer is a sign that's full of complexity and contradictions. While their protectiveness, possessiveness, and occasional mood swings can throw others off, these traits make them incredibly unique. Cancer may not always be easy to understand, but that's part of what makes them so special. They are loyal, nurturing, and intuitive, and their quirks are just a reflection of the emotional depth they carry. If you're a Cancer, I bet you recognized a few of these traits in yourself. And if you know a Cancer, you probably see some of these weird behaviors in them, too. Cancer's complexity and emotional intensity might seem overwhelming at times, but it's these very qualities that make them irreplaceable. Let me know in the comments if you agree with these traits or if you've noticed any other quirky Cancer behaviors. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more fun Zodiac content. Thanks for watching, and remember, embracing your weirdness is what makes you truly unforgettable.